Hey, I'm Jenna, and I had this really creepy guy, Oscar, in my class. He always stared at me like a tiger watching its prey. I hated it. Oscar was ugly, short, and creepy. Yet he came over to me one day to give me a USB stick.
Last night was a lot of fun. We should do it again someday.
I had no idea what he was talking about, but I had a bad feeling. When I plugged the stick into a computer, I found one video on it. I played it and saw myself locked up in a cage and on my knees. It was some kind of basement, and then Oscar came into the shot. He opened the lock and let me out of the cage. I immediately hugged him and said, "Thank you so much, Oscar. Why didn't I realize earlier that you are the prince of my dreams?" It was crazy. The girl inside the video didn't just look exactly like me, she also had my voice. Of course, I had heard about generative AI, but I didn't know you could already create videos that looked 100% realistic. It's actually kind of scary that now any boy can live out his fantasies through videos they create on their laptop. When I started kissing Oscar in the video, I quickly turned it off. It was gross, and I had no interest in watching it to the end. I felt scared, angry, and violated. And worse, the following weeks, Oscar kept following me around like a stalker. Sometimes it just sucks to be a girl and to be the weaker gender. I had no other choice but to find myself a boyfriend that could protect me from him. I ended up dating George, who I didn't really like, but at least he was strong, aggressive, and very protective. When I showed him the video Oscar had made of me locked into a cage, he got so angry that the next day at school, he pulled Oscar into the boys' bathroom and beat him up so badly that he had to be taken to the hospital for 2 broken ribs. Anyway, one evening on my way home from badminton practice, Oscar sneaked up on me from behind and knocked me unconscious with some heavy object. It's crazy how easy it is to abduct someone if you think about it. I woke up tied to a radiator in a basement when I saw Oscar. "Oh no, please let me go!" "Sorry, but you have to stay here for a while on your own. Once people notice that you are missing, I could probably become a prime suspect, so it's safer for me to stay away from you until the police give up the search. Anyway, I've prepared everything you need to survive, from food and water to poop buckets." It was absolutely terrifying. And worse, I later found out that the police put little to no effort into actually rescuing me. When my boyfriend George told the police captain that my classmate Oscar had been stalking me for months and that he might have abducted me, he only said, "Oh, your girlfriend just ran away. Teenagers do that all the time." Well, here is how you know a guy loves you. George was so worried about me that he decided to interrogate Oscar personally. He forced him into his car and drove them deep into a forest where no one could hear Oscar's screams. Apparently, it took George 2 days of inflicting severe pain on Oscar before he finally revealed where he was holding me captive. I can't describe the relief I felt, sitting there next to my poop buckets, when the door opened and I saw George coming into the basement. We called the police, and Oscar ended up getting sentenced to 20 years in prison for kidnapping me and holding me captive. Unfortunately, my boyfriend George also got 6 years in prison for using torture during his extrajudicial interrogation of Oscar. In other words, he had sacrificed his own freedom to rescue me. And worst of all, I never actually loved him. George just wasn't my type. There was no way I was going to stay faithful to him for 6 years while he was locked up, so I visited him to have the most difficult conversation of my life. "Hey, how are you, sweetie?" "I'm good, thank you, George. But I got to tell you something." "What is it?" "Look, I'm infinitely grateful for what you done for me. You literally saved my life. But in the end, I only dated you to protect me from Oscar. I never really loved you, so I'm breaking up with you." George lost it and started screaming every imaginable insult at me. Of course I felt bad for him, but I also believe that I did the right thing. What do you think? If you enjoyed watching my story, please subscribe to the channel.